knows someone, if they themselves have not been a victim of deed theft or illegal foreclosures, phony fake foreclosures, people that don't even have the mortgage or the note, but somehow they get into the court system, and because some judges or lawyers decide to turn a blind eye, they keep proceeding, and over a number of years, it becomes a real case. A fake case becomes a real case. And somebody actually ends up on the street and losing property worth millions of dollars. So these two lawyers that are going to join us have been fighting on behalf of homeowners of color. They are the experts. I've been writing a little bit, but I've learned more from people like this. So joining us today via Zoom, of course, he joined us for about 5 minutes. That's why I brought him back today. Lawyer Felix Gatti, and by his colleague as well, Roger Rowe. Welcome to Black Star News Show, both of you. Welcome. And welcome. Excellent. So why don't we start with you, Mr. Ngati? Tell us what the main problem is, what people should do, and then we'll turn to Roger Rowe, and then my colleague may have a few questions as well, Colin Benjamin. And we have maybe about 20 minutes or so. So let's make good use of this time. Please go ahead, Mr. Ngati.
Like I said before, the first issue here is deed theft. And we all know how it happens. For someone to steal your deed, it takes the closest person to you to get you to that someone. So if you have your deed, please, if you're going to do anything, call an attorney. Get an attorney of your own. Don't accept an attorney from anybody. And don't allow your friends, women, your boyfriends. Those are the type of people that will get you somewhere and you're going to lose your title. The thief doesn't come to your house. He gets someone to bring you to his house. And if you're somewhere signing papers and you are not in a law office, you are not in a public institution, don't do it. That's deed theft. And we handle that differently because what we are doing now is we're pushing for the DA to arrest anyone that steals a deed. I mean, if they can arrest people who do shoplifting, they can arrest these people. The elements are the same. A thief is a thief.
Right. And they've never done it, and we need to wait for that to become a reality. Okay, so let's turn to Roger Rowe for a minute, and then we'll come back and both of you will tell us your engagement with the district attorney in Kings County, which is Brooklyn, and this DA, Eric Gonzalez. I understand now that he's willing to meet with some of the people you represent, so you can talk about that. But let's hear from Roger Rowe first of all.
Yes, I would like to stress the point with deed theft that what the district attorney and the attorney general is doing is they're accepting a foreclosure action disguised. It's really deed theft disguised as a foreclosure action. And
explain that.
Well, basically what's going on is the bank has a right to bring somebody to court if they did not pay a debt. But when the prior bank satisfied that debt or discharged the debt, they don't have a right to come after somebody's home. And that's what these banks are doing. They're actually coming after somebody's home that was discharged by a prior bank. And they call that unfair and deceptive practice. And the Attorney General and the DA have the authority to go after these guys. Fortunately, the law provides a private right for individuals to go after them. So take, for example, if you, at your home, and an intruder comes in and you call 911, the police don't show up. You have a right under the Second Amendment to bear arms, and you can defend yourself. Same thing when it comes to somebody stealing your property. You have a right under the Donnelly Act to go after these guys for theft. Now, the DA and the Attorney General is not using their authority. So what I'm doing right now is I have a case at the Court of Appeals, 10 judges to court under an Article 78, compelling those judges to do their duty. And you will be amazed who defends those judges. And the Attorney General's office, their opposition said that I don't have a private right. And I have to explain to the Attorney General that I have a private right, and that private right is under the Donnelly Act. So what's going on is deeper than what we could ever imagine. In 2010, the Attorney General signed a settlement agreement with the national banks stating that and preserving people's private rights. So the public right of action, the Attorney General went after them. Kamala Harris was one of the Attorney Generals at the time, and the current Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, she signed that document. So they know what's going on. They know that the public right was violated, and they preserved everybody's private right. So for them to play and look a blind eye at private rights that are being asked for now and demanded, I'm lost for words.
Okay,
And
we're good.
fortunately, in meeting Felix and Felix understanding this on the legal end, because again, they looked at me because I'm not a lawyer by profession. I'm a lawyer actually, or an attorney, I should say, based on CPLR that says because I'm a pro se litigant, that I'm an attorney. Other than that, I'm not a licensed attorney, and I don't act like one, and I don't want to be one. That's why Felix is on board. So basically, Felix is able to explain that. Say that again?
You taught yourself what you're elaborating right now. You basically taught yourself. Okay.
Yes, and that's what I did. So what
I want clarification because, sometimes people listen to what is being said on the radio and they don't get a clear understanding. So you made the analogy, somebody breaking into your house, the police have not arrived, and you have a weapon and you have the right to defend yourself. You're certainly not saying that somebody who's stolen your deed, you can go after them with a gun. That's not what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
I just, because sometimes people listen to things on the radio and they just,
Yes, you're 100% correct. Let me clarify that. I'm saying the same laws that allows you to defend yourself is the same laws that would allow you to go after somebody civilly and criminally for stealing your property.
So I understood you clearly. Now, in terms of, and this is for you, Felix, and then of course, Roger, you can also climb in. If this issue is so widespread, and the district attorneys in each of the counties in New York presumably know about it, and the Attorney General of New York State know about it, why is there not a concerted effort to really go after this? They have these campaigns like, the war on drugs, war, whatever, war, everything else. Why is there not a concerted effort against this thing that seems to be very prevalent?
When you have the war on drugs, they're going after blue collar.
Yes.
When you have the war on anything, it's about blue collar.
Yes.
When the war is on white collar, it's tough. That's the difference. These people are dining and whining with this Attorney General. They dine and wine with the judges. They go to the same golf course. They're privileged. Most of them are not even blacks. They're people that sit with the governor. They have no money.
So I'm just trying to maximize the limited time we have. And now, and let me quickly remind listeners, you can only get this type of conversation because this is your station, you see? Nobody's going to call and say, okay, we're not going to advertise on WBI because you had this kind of conversation on the deed theft and illegal foreclosures. They can't do that because this is not a corporate station. This is your station. So once again, very quickly, go to the website, WBI.org. You can support us via PayPal, or you you can dial 833-922-4692. If it's a check or money order, you can make it payable to WBAI/Pacifica. You can mail that to 388 Atlantic Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11217. You can adopt any one of our numerous shows as a buddy, in which case the amount you yourself designate taken out on a monthly basis from your debit or credit card. You can do that by going to buddy.wpai.org. So, gentlemen, we want solutions now. We want you to tell us what the people can do. I know you're now representing what is growing to become a movement for people of color, and you've been engaging with District Attorney Eric Gonzalez in Kings County. So tell us what must be done. But because we're running out of time, let me allow Colin Benjamin, my colleague, to also give his question so you can just wrap it up together. Go ahead, Colin Benjamin.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. So besides the obvious racism that seems to be evident in deed theft, I've seen stories that also suggest that there's specific targeting of the elderly. I wanted you to talk about that, and I've also seen stories talking about deed theft aiding in gentrification in certain areas of Brooklyn as well.
Okay, so you can combine your response with whatever Colin asked right now with what I said, which is the same thing as actually saying, what is to be done? What can people do? And then we'll wrap up by you telling us how people can get in touch with you. Gentlemen, it's your time. Go ahead.
Yeah. What we need to do is for people to come out. People need to come out, and we go to the Attorney General's office and we talk to him. The press will be there. It helps. And this message has to run down to the electorate. When we start electing people that work for us, rather than stare us in the face, take our votes, and when they are leaving there, they only take care of their families and the well-connected people, we need to get them out of office. This is the movement. We need a district attorney that will hear us. We need an attorney general that will hear us. We need judges that will hear us. Judges run for election. You can take them out. It's a coalition. And people
and listeners, as I said, listeners get excited sometimes when say take them out, you mean move them out, of course.
take them out.
Okay, so Roger. Colin Benjamin, can you hear them? I think you've been having connectivity.
Yeah, it's kind of going in and out.
Nobody's using.
Yes, we took 10 judges to court, and 4 of them have recused themselves. The one of them is actually resigning because he was so-called caught up with disciplinary actions. So we're going to Article 78 every single judge that does something wrong. And what we need is for the people to come out when we go to the DA's office, and we're going to go to the DA's office because this is not only a black and brown issue.
Right.
We're talking Suffolk County, Nassau County, Westchester County. We're talking millions of people across the state. We're talking hundreds of millions across the country.
Right. I agree. I read about national stories all the time.
Yes, it's blatant theft. And I've pointed out to the DA, and all he has to do is look at a referee's deed. The law requires an authentication and a certification, and none of that is complete on a referee's deed. It's a simple process, and you know the normal person won't understand it. You know when you tell them the legal mumbo jumbo.
Right.
But anyone that takes a moment and just use common sense and say, hey, I need 2 things and I only have 1 on there. Why is my property being sold when the law blatantly says, it clearly says, real property shall not be sold pursuant to an execution of a mortgage debt. That's simple. You don't need to be an 8th grade student to read that. So these are the things that I want the people to be able to chant. You know, our President Trump I know many people may not like him, but he used his key word, stop the steal. We want to take those words from him and say, stop the steal. Do your job. Audit the record. Because they don't want to audit the record. They don't want to look at these titles. These titles are stolen. The title companies are laughing. And we got to get the insurance from the attorneys that are stealing. We got to start going to the bar. You know, why are these attorneys able to certify a referee's deed as if they have the power of the court? The law says that any officer of the court that neglects his duty is guilty of a felony. So why aren't these guys being prosecuted? If I did something like that, they would lock me up. If Felix did something like that, they would lock him up.
Right.
So this is what we need to let these folks know that we're fired up. We're not going to do this anymore.
Agreed, totally. There's a case involving a victim named Ashmeen Mardikan. We've written several articles about her case. In her case, they've now gone after her personal injury lawsuit, $5 million case. They've taken that and attached it because they say that is part of her estate. And since she owes creditors, even though there are no creditors of standing, they can now take that and put it under control of the trustee. And this is the best part. The lawyer who had represented her in the personal injury case is now the lawyer for the trustee. And here's the best part. Before he started working with the trustee, he filed a purported retainer agreement he executed with Ashmeen Mardikan. It has no date on it. The signature on it does not match the signature of the version that she has. And the judge presiding over the case, Jill Meza Marino, has been exposed, and yet that forged retainer agreement still remains on the docket because I did an article about it. So now they can't remove it. You know, it's amazing.
Right.
So, comrades, we've run out of time. I think we should organize a town hall with, WBAI. But let's discuss that off air. But finally, tell us how listeners can get in touch with you because we've run out of time. You first, Felix.
What are you saying?
Phone number or email. So listen.
Okay, my phone number is 646-353-4394. And my email is sgadi.
Same for you.
Yes. Roger. ATI at AOL.com.
Right, yeah, Roger. I'm sorry to run out of time. Your contact? Roger, your contact?
Yes, my contact is 631-767-6537. Again, it's 631.
Both again.
767.
Go ahead. Sorry, I did again. Go ahead. Go ahead, Roger.
Yes, it's 631-767-6537.
Okay, that's all the email. Definitely have both of you on again. Thank you so much for your time. Listeners, remain Pan-African. See you next week.